Christian. He came to us from BCB, middle school. At the time I met him, he was 12. He was not a child that gave anyone any problems. He just worked better in a smaller school setting, and that's why Edith Williams served as a nice environment for him to work. During the course of the summer, Chris had the opportunity of participating with Be the Change summer program, which allowed him the chance to work with Mr. Ben Minister of Chic Photography to learn more about photography. So he used to like photography, but he had a passion for horse racing because he was basically a third generation in his family to become a jockey. And we lost Christian in his first professional race in St. Croix when he was used as almost like a shield during a gang rivalry fight. And of course, he got killed and we lost him. That one was, out of all the students that I lost, I think this one was the most painful one because he was a nice child. Well, this was DeLon, and I had the opportunity of working with DeLon when he was over at BCB Middle School. DeLon has some challenges in terms of progressing educationally. Everything had to be broken down to him a little bit slower. Not that he couldn't do the work, but you just had to give him more of that one-to-one. And he was sweet, but we found out about DeLon's passing because one of our friends was a police officer, and his mother was asked to go and identify him, but his body was so decomposed they found him in a bush in Tutu that they were only able to recognize him by his tennis shoes that he was wearing that day. So again, caught up in whatever gang or whatever street violence there is going on in our community, but another young black man gone too soon. Well, this was Jamal, and the picture that you see here was when I met him. He was a student over at the New Horizon school. Jamal was really outgoing, was always the kind of student that did really good with any assignment that had to deal with his hands. He enjoyed driving big trucks, and that was pretty much what he wanted to do for his life. He even had an opportunity to do some work with a TV station, and he enjoyed that as well. And unfortunately, we lost him in June of this past summer, 2009, again to a violent act of guns. So that hurt as well because he really was doing positive things with himself. He was just not throwing his life away, but his life was just taken too soon.
Was Jamal in a gang?
No, Jamal was not part of that. He was just caught up in a situation where he went to go pay a visit to someone, and I think he was wearing a gold chain, and they came and tried robbing him. He was on a bike or robbing his cousin or something, and they just shot after him and killed him. This was Camilo, and Camilo was definitely affiliated with gangs in our community. During the course of the summer, right before we went on summer break, I remember precisely having him sit in my office and talking to him in terms of keeping himself out of trouble during the course of the summer so that he can come back to school. He had a troubled past. He came and relocated from Florida. And sure enough, we let out of school late in that June, and July 16th, he was gunned down from a rival gang right there by the Frosco building by Can Crime. What was so sad about it was that, again, his grandmother was raising him, and his grandmother was really old, and it was hard for the family to come to terms with his death and deal with it financially as well, so we lost another one. This is Kendall, and a lot of times we believe that young males gravitate towards being part of a gang because they don't have a positive role model in their lives or father figure. But in Kendall's situation, it was a little different. His dad was an active parent. His mom was also an active parent. And for some reason, he just gravitated towards the wrong crowd. I remember having him in my science class, very quiet, very soft-spoken, but I guess tormented. And as a result of that, he just gravitated towards a gang, and as a result of that, we lost him too. This was LaShawn, and if there's anyone in my life that I would remember in terms of the students that I've worked with, would be LaShawn. LaShawn was brilliant to the point that I think that when LaShawn was 13, he was able to just go on ahead, and the school system had to challenge him to a point where he could go on and complete his GED. So he went off to the States and came back and accomplished that. But one of the scariest things that I learned from LaShawn was his way of thinking. LaShawn's way of thinking was just different. But unfortunately, LaShawn passed away and left behind 2 young children, so now they're left with no father. That was LaShawn.